This is MeetSean, where we break down real life topics insurance, annuities, real estate, travel planning, and home ownership so you can make smarter moves. Subscribe so you don't miss the next episode.
Welcome back to the Deep Dive. Today we are crossing the water and heading straight into a land that feels both fiercely ancient and boldly modern. Wales.
It really does.
It's this country defined by its rugged coastline, spectacular mountains, and a distinct Celtic culture, all nestled in the southwest of Great Britain.
And it is the perfect target for a deep dive because Wales offers this really rare blend of deep history and future-focused thinking.
For the history buff, I imagine it's paradise.
Oh, absolutely. You're immediately confronted by the sheer number of medieval castles and ancient ruins. I mean, it's known as the castle capital of the world for a reason.
And for anyone obsessed with the natural world, the geographical diversity is just stunning. We're talking majestic mountains, lush green valleys, and these pristine coastlines.
A breathtaking backdrop for any adventure, really.
Yeah.
And critically, for the culture seeker, you get to immerse yourself in the nation's Celtic heritage. That means experiencing the language, the music, the festivals firsthand.
Okay, so let's unpack this. Our mission today is to explore the popular destinations, but maybe more importantly, to understand how this country balances preserving, 2,000 years of history?
At least. And they do that while pioneering modern ecological and cultural initiatives. It's a fascinating balancing act.
So let's start where most people do. In the capital city, Cardiff. It feels like the perfect gateway.
It is. It's a dynamic coastal hub, but it really represents that internal dialogue, let's say, between the ancient and the contemporary.
Right, it's all there in one place.
Exactly. Cardiff, located right in the south, it shows its history almost immediately. Right in the city center, you have these tranquil retreats like Butte Park.
Which is huge, right?
It's massive, 130-acre expanse of green space along the River Taff. It gives people room to breathe, to walk, to picnic. And that's an intentional effort, to preserve that natural tranquility right alongside the urban bustle.
And while Butte Park preserves the natural side of things, Cardiff really showcases the country's radical economic transformation.
That's the key insight. The Bay Area, it was once the industrial powerhouse of the Welsh economy.
All coal and steel.
Exactly. Shipping coal and steel. Its transformation into a modern metropolis reflects this fundamental economic shift away from heavy industry and toward, culture and finance.
And the focal point of that transition has to be the Wales Millennium Center.
Without a doubt. It's a massive, striking piece of architecture, and it's now the primary hub for performing arts. It basically demonstrates that the future of the region is now invested in cultural capital.
And of course, for fans of classic British sci-fi, you had the Doctor Who experience there for a long time.
Right. Which definitely helps solidify the city as a center for imaginative modern media.
It's a powerful blend of high culture and pop culture. And if you're just looking to soak it all in, I guess you head over to Mermaid Quay.
Yeah, that's the spot. Mermaid Quay has all the essential waterfront dining, the bars, the shops. It's the place to truly appreciate the scale of that transformation. With picturesque bay views and boat trips, it's a celebration of a reclaimed coastline.
All right, so we've established our launch pad. But you can't talk about Wales without talking about its defining feature, its castles. This is where it gets really interesting.
It really is.
We're looking at architecture that spans Roman foundations, medieval military masterpieces, and these almost fairy tale Victorian fantasies.
That historical breadth is what makes Wales so unique. We should probably look at, say, 5 key fortresses that illustrate this country's long history of both internal conflict and external conquest.
Starting right back in the capital with Cardiff Castle itself.
Yeah, it showcases over 2,000 years of continuous use. And the most compelling fact here is its very foundation.
What's that?
It was built directly on the remains of a massive Roman fort, but its modern appearance is primarily due to the 19th century architect William Burgess, who transformed it into this vivid Gothic revival masterpiece.
So you have Roman military history, medieval additions, and then a theatrical Victorian makeover, all literally piled on top of each other.
Precisely. Now, if we move north, we transition from that architectural fantasy back to a more brutal military reality with 2 key fortresses.
The first being the UNESCO World Heritage Site, Conwy Castle.
Conwy, built in the late 13th century, is just monumental. You have these imposing walls, massive towers, but if you stand on those ramparts and look out towards Snowdonia, You're standing inside one of the most visible symbols of conquest.
It was part of what they call the Iron Ring, right?
That's it.
We hear that term a lot, the Iron Ring, but what did it actually represent on the ground?
Well, it wasn't just a chain of fortresses. It was a strategic and, frankly, a brutal system implemented by Edward I of England to permanently cement the conquest and, subdue the newly acquired Welsh territories.
But they were designed to intimidate.
Absolutely. They were designed to be expensive, intimidating, and virtually impregnable symbols of English power.
And the absolute zenith of that intimidating regal power would have to be Caernarfon Castle.
Correct. Caernarfon Castle is globally recognized as one of the greatest buildings of the Middle Ages. Its unique polychromatic stonework and massive polygonal towers were deliberately designed to evoke the walls of Constantinople.
So it wasn't just a fortress.
No, it was a political statement. It blended sheer military strength with this symbolic, almost mythical grandeur.
From that statement of power, we then move to the curious case of Beaumaris Castle, out on the Isle of Anglesey.
Beaumaris is fascinating because it's known as the unfinished masterpiece.
Unfinished.
It was never fully completed, yet it represents the absolute peak of medieval military engineering. Its defining feature is the nearly symmetric design and the concentric ring of walls.
Okay, so for those of us who don't spend our weekend studying military fortification, what does that concentric ring actually achieve?
It means you have a castle within a castle. The inner ring of walls is taller and stronger than the outer ring, which creates these overlapping fields of fire.
Ah, so if an attacking force breached the outer wall,
they were trapped in a killing zone between the two rings. It was the ultimate medieval security system, showcasing immense planning ambition.
And from that immense ambition to pure storybook fantasy, we find Castel Coch.
Ah, Castel Coch, the Red Castle, nestled in the woodlands just outside Cardiff. This is the ultimate example of Victorian Gothic revival fantasy.
People call it Cinderella's castle, don't they?
They do, affectionately. It's a whimsical contrast to the grim reality of the Iron Ring, defined by its delicate turrets and soaring spires. It's just pure architectural escapism.
It's incredible how those different ages of ambition, military, political, and whimsical can exist within one landscape. And speaking of landscape, we have to pivot to the country's natural wonders. Wales is just as defined by its dramatic mountains and serene coastlines.
The national parks offer an unparalleled escape, and they are so crucial to the Welsh identity. We should start with the colossal presence of Snowdonia National Park in the north.
The rugged mountains piercing the sky, kind of dramatic backdrop, dominated by Mount Snowdon itself.
That's right. Mount Snowdon invites thousands of hikers and climbers every year to tackle these thrilling ascents. But beyond the peak, the park provides rolling valleys, pristine lakes, cascading waterfalls. It's a massive, untamed landscape.
A real challenge.
Exactly. It draws people seeking that challenge.
Now, moving south, we encounter a park that is explicitly looking toward the future, the Brecon Beacons National Park.
Yes, the Brecon Beacons, with its expansive moorlands and woodlands, is important for hiking, but its modern claim to fame is its environmental protection policy. Crucially, it was the first place in Wales to be designated an international dark sky reserve.
That designation is significant. It's not just a nice title, is it? It requires a serious long-term commitment.
It's a monumental political and environmental commitment. Achieving that status requires rigorous standards for controlling and reducing light pollution across a huge area.
So local authorities and businesses have to buy in.
Completely. They've had to adapt lighting policies to protect the dark skies, which in turn boosts astrotourism and environmental health. It's a perfect example of Wales balancing its ancient geology with future-forward conservation.
I love that connection. Then, wrapping around the western edge of the country, we have the Pembrokeshire Coast National Park.
This park offers a completely different kind of drama. It's this captivating tapestry of golden beaches, towering rugged cliffs, and hidden coves overlooking the Irish Sea.
And great for wildlife spotting, I hear.
Oh, it's one of the best spots. You get those stunning views, and you often see seals and dolphins frolicking near the shore.
And we can't overlook the smaller places that feel almost mythical, like the enchanting fairy glens of the Elan Valley or the sea caves at Seabury Bay.
And the mystical Devil's Bridge with its famous triple-layered waterfalls. These are the places that truly underscore the country's ancient, almost mystical past. A treasure trove for anyone willing to get off the main track.
Okay, so let's move from the land to the heart and soul of the nation. Its culture. To truly understand Wales, you have to understand the passion and heritage of its people.
And that passion is perhaps most immediately visible in its national sports. Rugby. It's more than a game. It is an intrinsic, vital part of the national identity.
The atmosphere during a national team match at Principality Stadium is often described as, well, overwhelming and unifying.
It absolutely is. And while rugby is core, the country is making global headlines in football too.
With Wrexham, of course.
Of course. The remarkable ascent and growing popularity of Wrexham Football Club has brought this new wave of attention and excitement. It shows that modern Welsh engagement goes far beyond just the traditional sports.
So beyond the stadiums, where do we find the strongest expressions of this deep Celtic heritage?
You find it in the celebrations, particularly the Eisteddfod. This is the renowned national cultural festival that celebrates the language, music, literature, arts, and poetry, and it's held annually.
So it's not just a performance.
Not at all. It's an active preservation and reaffirmation of the Welsh identity,
And for those seeking literature and intellect, there's the Hay Festival.
which has been called the Woodstock of the mind. It attracts acclaimed authors, thinkers, intellectuals from around the world to the small market town of Hay-on-Wye every year. It's a powerful cultural magnet,
And for food lovers, there's the Abergavenny Food Festival.
bringing together local producers, celebrity chefs, and food enthusiasts. And we should remember the cultural hubs like the Wales Millennium Center and the National Botanic Garden of Wales, which also serve as critical venues for all sorts of cultural events.
All this talk of festivals and culture leads us inevitably to the plate. We need to detail the traditional Welsh cuisine that defines the national culinary heritage.
Right. We have to start with cawl, the ultimate national comfort food.
It's basically a stew, right?
A thick, hearty, and very flavorsome soup or stew. It's made with lamb or beef, combined with potatoes, leeks, and other seasonal root vegetables. It's soul-warming, stick-to-your-ribs fare.
And the savory classic that everyone recognizes, Welsh rarebit.
This is so much more sophisticated than just cheese on toast. It is this rich, savory cheese sauce, usually made from aged cheddar, often with ale, mustard, and Worcestershire sauce, poured over or grilled on top of toasted bread.
It's deceptively complex.
It really is.
Now for the truly unique items. We have to talk about laverbread and Glamorgan sausage.
Okay, laverbread is often the dish that stops people in their tracks. It's a unique delicacy made from edible seaweed called laver.
Seaweed.
Yep. It's harvested along the coast, boiled, and minced to a dark green puree. Then it's often served rolled in oatmeal and fried with bacon.
It sounds unusual. Why did this become such a staple?
It's a deep nod to coastal history. It's an incredibly nutrient-dense food, high in protein, iron, iodine, and historically it provided a crucial resource for coastal communities when other food was scarce.
So it's sustenance tied directly to the sea.
That's it. That gives it the context it deserves.
And for the vegetarians, the Glamorgan sausage.
The Glamorgan sausage is a wonderful meat-free treat. It's made from a savory mixture of breadcrumbs, carefully cheese, leeks, and fresh herbs, shaped into a sausage, and then fried until it's golden and crispy.
And finally, for the sweet tooth, the tea time favorites, Barabrith and Welsh cakes.
Barabrith translates to speckled bread. It's a traditional fruitcake, enriched with spices and often soaked in tea before baking, which makes it really dense and moist. And Welsh cakes are these small, griddled circular cakes made from flour, butter, sugar, currants, enjoyed warm with a dusting of sugar. Perfect with a cup of tea.
So we've traced this whole journey, from the dynamic transformation of Cardiff Bay to the historical conquest symbolized by Caernarfon Castle. We see the unique symmetry of Beaumaris's concentric walls and celebrated the deep cultural heritage reflected in Cawl and the Eisteddfod.
It truly is a comprehensive experience. You leave with an appreciation for its ancient, sometimes painful history and its clear, determined path toward a sustainable future.
Which brings us back to our central theme, and it's the thought we want to leave you with. We found this evidence of a meticulous dedication to preserving 2,000 years of history, like the Roman foundations under Cardiff Castle.
Right.
But at the same time, the country is pioneering bold new environmental and cultural policies, like establishing the International Dark Sky Reserve in the Brecon Beacons.
A real commitment.
So what does this deep commitment to preserving the ancient past, while actively innovating for a future-forward vision, what does that say about the inherent strength and adaptability of the Welsh identity?
Something to ponder as you start planning your own journey into the valleys and castles of Wales.
Until next time.
That's it for today's Meet Sean. If this helped, follow the show and share this episode with one person who needs it. See you next time.